You are standing in your kitchen at night, you reach over, flip a switch, and the light turns on before you even finish the motion. No delay, no flicker, no waiting. It feels like magic, like the bulb just knows what you want. But that electricity did not start in your kitchen. It started somewhere far away, maybe hundreds of miles away, and it just finished a journey with more stops than most people take on a road trip. So what actually happens between a power plant and your light bulb, and how does it get here fast enough that you never notice the wait? It starts at a power plant where a giant generator spins and creates electricity at a fairly modest voltage, somewhere around a few thousand to 30,000 volts. That sounds like a lot, but for what comes next, it is actually the small stuff. Right there at the plant, before the electricity even leaves the property, it hits its first stop. A step-up transformer grabs that electricity and cranks the voltage way up, sometimes past 500,000 volts. Here is the part that trips people up. More voltage sounds like more danger. And it is, but it is also the trick that makes long-distance travel possible. Think of electricity like cargo on a truck. Now, if you want to move a huge amount of stuff efficiently across the country, you load one giant truck instead of sending 5 small ones stuck in traffic. High voltage is the giant truck. It lets the power move with less current, and less current means less energy wasted as heat along the way. Now, fully loaded, the electricity heads out onto the transmission lines. These are the tall steel towers you see running along highways, carrying wires way up in the air. This is the interstate highway of the power grid, and the electricity can travel hundreds of miles on it. What's actually racing down that line at a huge fraction of light speed isn't the electrons themselves, they barely move at all. Picture a long row of dominoes standing on end, packed close together, but instead of tipping over one by one in a single direction, each domino just rocks back and forth in place, tapping its neighbor, which rocks too, then taps the next one. The rocking motion barely travels at all. Each domino stays right where it started, but the tap gets passed down the row almost instantly. That is closer to what is really happening inside the wire. Eventually, the electricity reaches a transmission substation. This is the first unloading stop. The truck cannot drive into your neighborhood at full size, so this substation steps the voltage back down, usually to around 69,000 volts. Still way too much for a house, but now small enough to head toward your area instead of across the whole country. From here, it reaches a distribution substation, doing another round of unloading, stepping the voltage down again to somewhere between 4,000 and 35,000 volts. This is the electricity leaving the highway and turning onto local roads, headed specifically toward your neighborhood. The distribution lines carry it the rest of the way, right up to that gray box on a pole or the green box on the ground near your house. That box is a small transformer, and it does the final unloading, stepping everything down to the 120 or 240 volts your outlets and appliances actually use. In some countries, this last number looks different, closer to 220 volts, but the job is the same everywhere. Shrink the truck down to something that fits your driveway. From that transformer, the electricity finally enters the wiring inside your walls, runs to the switch you just flipped, and lights up the bulb. So here is the punchline. From the moment it left the power plant to the moment it lit your kitchen, that voltage rocketed up and then came back down again, and the gap between its highest point and its lowest point was measured in the thousands, not the tens, not the hundreds. It passed through at least 4 or 5 separate transformers along the way and crossed a distance that might be longer than your last road trip. And it did all of that in a fraction of a second, faster than you could blink, faster than you could even finish flipping the switch. Next time the light comes on instantly, remember where it actually came from. It came from a power plant, passed down through smaller and smaller trucks, until it was exactly the right size to fit in your hand.